In 1973, while much of the world was choosing sides in the Cold War, Yugoslavia took a different path, non-aligned, self-managed, and knitted together from 6 republics into a single federation. In people's pockets, that idea was made of metal, the 2 Dinara coin. Today we'll unpack the story stamped into this small disc, how it was designed, why it looks the way it does, and what it can tell us about everyday life in a country that no longer exists. Chapter 1, Meet the coin on screen, obverse and reverse side by side, with simple arrows labeling features. The coin we're exploring is the 2 Dinara from the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, dated 1973. In Serbo-Croatian, Yugoslavia appears as SFRY Yugoslavia, pronounced Yugoslavia. This issue circulated widely in the 1970s and early 1980s. One side centers the state coat of arms, 6 bound sheaves rising as 6 torches merging into one flame, tied with a ribbon that bears the revolutionary date, 29-11-1943, November 29, 1943, when the Anti-Fascist Council proclaimed the federal state during World War II. Around it runs the country's name. The other side is functional, a large numeral, 2, the word Dinara, the date, 1973, and socialist-era motifs such as wheat ears and a 5-pointed star, visual shorthand for labor, harvest, and the Socialist Project. Chapter 2, the country behind the coin on screen, map of the SFRY with its 6 republics highlighted, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Macedonia, Montenegro, Serbia, Slovenia. The SFRY was an unusual Cold War state. Led by Josip Broz Tito, it broke with the Soviet bloc in 1948 and later helped found the non-aligned movement. Inside, it was a federation of 6 republics, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Macedonia, Montenegro, Serbia, and Slovenia, with 2 autonomous provinces inside Serbia, Vojvodina and Kosovo. By 1973, Yugoslavia was balancing rapid industrialization with a distinctive system called workers' self-management, enterprises run by worker councils, with planning and market elements coexisting. Internationally, the country traded actively with both East and West. If you lived in Yugoslavia in the early 1970s, your daily cash was a mix of coins like the 1, 2, 5, 10, and 20 dinara, and banknotes for larger sums. The 2 dinara sat near the sweet spot for everyday transactions, tram fares, bread, newspapers, or a coffee at the neighborhood cafe. Chapter 3, Design language, symbols and messages on screen, close-ups of design details with gentle zooms, star, wheat, date on ribbon, torches, coins are tiny billboards for national narratives. The 5-pointed star points to socialist identity, the wheat ears and wreaths evoke agriculture and collective prosperity, the large numeral communicates clarity, easy to spot and spend. The coat of arms, with 6 torches uniting into one flame, is a metaphor for the Federation's ideal, many peoples, one country. The 29-11-1943 date on the ribbon anchors legitimacy in the partisan struggle during World War II. In 1973, these were not abstract images. They appeared in classrooms, public art, and daily media. On coinage, the effect is quiet repetition, each transaction reinforces the story of unity, victory, and shared work. On-screen note, coat of arms motif, 6 torches 1 flame equals federal unity. Chapter 4, Making Money, how a 2 dinara was struck, 11 to 1500 hours, on-screen, simple animation of coin manufacturing steps. Let's walk through how a 2 dinara was made. 1. Alloy preparation. The mint blended base metals into a durable alloy with a golden or brass-like hue common to mid-century socialist coinage. It needed to resist wear, tone gracefully, and strike clean detail at high mint speeds. 2. Blanks and planchets. Sheets of the alloy were rolled to the target thickness and punched into round blanks. After annealing and cleaning, these became planchets, ready to be struck. 3. Dies and hubs. Master hubs carried the positive relief, working dies carried the negative design. The coat of arms fine lines, sheaves, torches, and ribbon numerals, required crisp die preparation so they wouldn't fill in with repeated use. 4. Striking. Each planchet was forced between upper and lower dies under high pressure, transferring the design in milliseconds. 5. Quality control. Ready coins were weighed and inspected for defects, off-center strikes, die cracks, or filled letters before being bagged for distribution through the banking network. On-screen tip: Yugoslav circulating coins typically lacked visible mint marks. Chapter 5, 1973, a year in context. 1973 was turbulent globally. The oil crisis shocked energy prices and exposed vulnerabilities in many economies. Yugoslavia, with its export orientation and hard currency borrowing, was not insulated, yet daily life continued with new apartments rising, coastal tourism booming, and factories humming. Politically, the Federation was moving toward the 1974 Constitution, which would grant its republics and provinces significant autonomy. That political evolution mattered for currency and symbols. Coins needed to speak to everyone: Slovene farmers, Serbian factory workers, Macedonian teachers, Croat dockworkers, so the imagery stayed broad and inclusive. No single leader's portrait, just the shared coat of arms and socialist motifs. In cafes and kiosks, the 2 dinara bridged small purchases, exact change, and bus tokens. If you were a student in Belgrade or Ljubljana, you probably fished a few 2 dinara pieces from your pocket every day. Chapter 6, reading the obverse. Coat of arms and legends focus on the coat of arms, 6 sheaves/torches, each symbolizes one republic. When they merge into one flame, the message is unity in strength. Ribbon date 29-11-1943, the moment when the Partisan Council laid the foundations of the federal state. Wreath, agricultural bounty and the dignity of labor, a classic socialist visual. Legend, SFRY Yugoslavia/Yugoslavia, variants appear across years and scripts reinforces state identity. Yugoslavia used both Latin and Cyrillic scripts, and different issues across the era reflect that bilingual reality. On-screen pronunciation: Yugoslavia, Latin, Cyrillic. Chapter 7, reading the reverse. Value, star, and wheat, 25:00, 28:00. On-screen, reverse with highlighted star, numeral, date. The reverse is utilitarian, large, 2. Clear denomination for quick recognition. Dinara, the currency unit. Year, 1973, your timestamp. 5-pointed star, a compact sign of socialism. Repeated on many coins of the era. Wheat ears/wreath elements, tie the coin thematically to production and harvest. This language is both practical and ideological, spendable design that also tells you who you are, and when. Chapter 8, everyday use, prices, pay, and pockets. On screen, vintage supermarket, tram, cafe menus with sample prices. Illustrative. What did 2 dinara buy? Exact prices varied by city and year, but think, a newspaper, a small pastry, or a portion of bus fare. The coin circulated with the 1 and 5 dinara, giving shoppers and clerks flexible combinations at the counter. In a mixed economy where wages, subsidies, and prices were periodically adjusted, small coins like the 2 dinara kept daily transactions fluid and familiar. Chapter 9, the monetary story, stability, shocks, and change. On screen, simple timeline showing 1960s reform, early 1970s growth, 1973 oil shock, late 1970s adjustments. Yugoslavia's currency story is one of managed ambition. The 1960s reforms sought to improve efficiency through self-management and measured market mechanisms. By the early 1970s, growth was tangible, factories exported to both East and West, coastal tourism brought hard currency. Then came the 1973 oil crisis, which rippled through transport, manufacturing, and consumer prices. The dinar's purchasing power was periodically adjusted, and later decades would see more pronounced inflation. But in 1973, the 2 dinara remained a reliable, ubiquitous piece of cash, a coin you didn't think about until it was missing from the change tray. Chapter 10, varieties, quality, and what collectors notice. 37:00, 43:00. On screen, macro photos, sharp strike versus flat strike, lightly circulated versus uncirculated. For collectors, the 1973 2 dinara is accessible and generally common. That's part of its charm. Here's what to watch for. 1. Condition, grade, uncirculated, UNC/mint state, crisp star, sharp wheat kernels, clean fields with mint luster, about UNC/extremely fine, minor rub on high points, light hairlines, fine to very fine, flattening on the star and coat of arms, more contact marks, dull fields. Point 2. Strike quality. High-speed mass production means not every coin is equally crisp. Look at the tiny lines in the sheaves, the flame detail, and the beads or border, softness there hints at die wear or lower striking pressure. Point 3. Planchet and color, the alloy develops characteristic toning with time, golden to olive hues. Attractive, natural toning can lift eye appeal. Point 4. Die chips, cracks, and fill, small die cracks near the star or lettering can appear. Most carry little premium, but dramatic or well-placed ones can interest specialists. Point 5. Rotation and alignment, standard alignment is typical, but check for unusual rotations, they're not the norm, and pronounced rotations can be collectible. Point 6. Cleaning versus original surfaces, bright, scratchy surfaces are a red flag. Original mint luster, even with small marks, is preferable. On screen, a quick grading side-by-side comparison with labels, original luster, versus harshly cleaned. Chapter 11, Rarity and Value, what is it worth? On screen, disclaimer text, auction results vary. Check multiple recent sales. Because the 2 Dinara was a workhorse coin, mintages were large, and the 1973 date is not rare. Typical value ranges look like this, circulated examples, modest, often a low-cost addition to a world coins album, uncirculated pieces, a small premium, especially with strong luster and clean fields, exceptional specimens, coins with outstanding eye appeal, choice strikes, or unusual die features can bring higher interest. Exact prices fluctuate with condition, demand, regional interest, and broader market cycles. For the most accurate picture, compare recent auction results and dealer listings, focusing on clear, high-resolution photos and consistent grading descriptions. The best strategy is to buy with your eyes. Pick the coin whose surfaces and strike you actually like. Chapter 12, How to Collect, Smart, Simple Strategies on Screen, checklist with icons that if you're building a Yugoslav type set or a focused date run, try this. Aim for originality. Prioritize coins with untouched surfaces and natural toning over overly bright, cleaned pieces. Standardize grading. Use the same light and magnification every time. Compare to known benchmarks. Document everything. Record where, when, and from whom you bought each coin. Photograph both sides in consistent lighting. Upgrade patiently. Start with a nice circulated coin, then upgrade to brilliant uncirculated if you find one with attractive luster and sharp detail. Protect the coin. Store in inert holders, mylar flips, archival capsules. Avoid PVC softened plastics that can leach onto the surface. Watch for sets. Sometimes, Yugoslav coins appear as date sets or mixed lots. You can cherry-pick a better 1973 by eye. Chapter 13, Photography and Presentation on Screen, Lightbox Setup Diagram. For YouTube or catalog shots, place the coin on a neutral background. Use diffused light to avoid specular glare, set white balance correctly, and shoot straight on. A modest macro lens or phone in macro mode works. A tripod minimizes shake. Rotate the coin so the star or coat of arms sits upright. It anchors the frame and gives viewers a clear read of the design. Chapter 14, Conservation, Do's and Don'ts. On screen, Do/don't, split.do handle by the edges with clean, dry hands or cotton gloves. Do store in a stable, low humidity environment. Don't polish or scrub, this leaves hairlines that destroy mint luster. Don't dip arbitrarily, chemical dips can strip the surface and leave the coin lifeless. If a coin arrives with surface grime, sometimes a gentle distilled water soak followed by air drying is the least invasive approach. When in doubt, leave it alone. Chapter 15, The Human Story. What a 2 Dinara meant on screen, archival street footage, markets, buses, newsstands. This coin is a bridge to ordinary lives, students counting change for bus fare, grandparents buying bread, workers grabbing a newspaper before shift. It's a tactile reminder that nations speak through their money, and that even in a complex federation, people share the same coins, cafes, and commutes. Hold a 1973 2 Dinara and you're holding a moment, a year before a new constitution, in the wake of a global oil shock, in a country balancing autonomy and openness. It's the sound of coins on a cafe saucer and the feel of a jacket pocket on a winter morning. Chapter 16, Frequently Asked Questions. Q. Is the 1973 2 Dinara rare? A. No. It's a common, mass circulation issue. Scarcity, if any, comes from top grades with excellent luster and clean fields. Q. Did Yugoslav coins have mint marks? A. Circulating issues typically do not show mint marks. They were struck by the state mint for national distribution. Q. What's the metal? A durable base metal alloy with a brass or golden-toned appearance typical of the era, chosen for wear resistance and mintability. Q. Are there varieties? A. You'll see normal year-to-year die differences and ordinary production variances. Major catalog varieties for 1973 are not commonly cited by collectors, but minor die cracks or chips can be interesting. Q. How should I store it? A. In inert holders, away from PVC and humidity. Avoid cleaning. Chapter 17, a mini guide to attribution. 1. Date, confirm 1973 on the value side. Point 2. Design, large. 2, Dinara, star above, wheat/wreath motifs, national coat of arms on the opposite side. Point 3. Legends, country name around the coat of arms, expect script conventions reflecting the multilingual character of the state. Point 4. Authenticity, consistent color, weight, and edge, crisp details for the grade, nothing that looks cast, porous, or wrong in font. Chapter 18, why this coin still matters on screen, montage, coastal Yugoslavia tourism of the 70s, factories, student life. The 1973 2 Dinara isn't just a common world coin. It's a key to understanding how Yugoslavia imagined itself, equal parts worker, farmer, and citizen, federation first, republics together. In a world polarized by the superpowers, Yugoslavia's money told a quieter story, practical, inclusive, and determinately its own. For collectors, it's an affordable doorway into Balkan history, non-aligned diplomacy, and the aesthetics of socialist design. For family historians across the region, it's a memory coin, something your grandparents might have used daily. Chapter 19, tips for video creators and sellers, 1 hour and 14 minutes to 1 hour and 18 minutes, on screen. Bullet point overlay show macro detail. Viewers love seeing the star, wheat, and the date ribbon up close. Context sells. Pair the coin with a postcard of 1970s Belgrade or Split for thumbnails, tell human stories. Ask, what could this coin buy, and show period objects. Be specific, but honest. Emphasize that values vary with condition and market dynamics. Chapter 20, closing on screen, coin slowly rotating. End card appears, from the strike of the dies to the clink on a cafe saucer. The 1973 Yugoslav 2 Dinara carries more than its face value. It holds the image a country had of itself, united, industrious, and distinct. If you've got one, give it a closer look. There's a whole chapter of 20th century history shining back at you. On screen, like, subscribe, comment your 2 Dinara story and credits/quick references optional. Lower third on screen. This video is for history and hobby education. Prices vary by grade and market. Notes for your voiceover and edit tone, calm, warm, curious, pacing, 140 to 160 words per minute. B-roll ideas, archival city footage, factory floors, trams, cafes, beaches of the Adriatic, macro coin pans, audio bed, light 1970s style instrumental, duck under voice, accessibility, add captions for names and dates. Include pronunciation notes for Yugoslavia / and Dinara.